Presentation in association with all WNY News Radio. It's another week of the Nick and Dan Show, Season 2, bitches! Starring your hosts, Nick and that lovable motherfucker, Dan. Not to mention myself, Carl Winslow. And featuring Think So Joe. On today's episode, Nick and Dan went back in the archive to find a very special moment from last season that never aired. The boys have a candid conversation with former Dirty Smile members Megan, now with Rust Belt Birds, and Jesse with Stationwagon at this point, to talk about addiction and depression. After, we're back to the future to talk to Matt and Ryan from Crooked Gener8ion and get a taste of their music.
Welcome to the show where the points don't matter and everything is made up. The Nick and Dan Show.
Look at teenage angsty me coming back and helping me out now. Strung out on cocaine. I'm clean now. I'm not one of those people just nobody freaks out. Fucking 12 years clean.
Hell yeah, good for you.
Not easy at first.
I was gonna say, that's not an easy feat.
So much better. Life is so much better. Plus, I'm not dead. That's the best part.
Right.
The best part is being alive.
Yep. Absolutely.
Especially all the shit you see nowadays. It's insane. It's insane.
It's painful.
Dropping like flies.
Yeah, man, and it's like...
these days. It's everything they're cooking it up with, and...
Yeah. Right. You're hurting yourself, you're hurting your family, your friends. It's
I remember the early days, like all this stuff really getting big, and it was tough to deal with back then.
Dude.
I mean, all the skulls on my arm and I need updating are for somebody I buried because of something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Man.
That's not right.
Yeah, get straight. There's no fucking reason to end everything and drive yourself into that fucking hole. You know, you've got people you can talk to.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, make a phone call. Say, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
I think with addiction, though, it's like if you don't have the right resources available to you, it's even harder. You know?
It is.
If you can't afford to lock yourself down in a healthy facility for a while, you know, it's a lot harder.
You have to afford to do that.
Exactly. Like, you shouldn't have to afford to do it. It is a disease.
And the problem is that with rehab, because I've been through it several times, the problem with it is that you go in wet and you're dry now.
Cold turkey.
In a completely sterile environment where it's not available. Mm-hmm. And then it's over, and they put you back out in the world where everything else is wet, but you're dry. Yeah. And they expect you to uphold that because they don't give you... They just work with you as far as getting you clean, dealing with the detox and everything, the withdrawal. They don't work with you on the skills to reach out to a support system, to build a support system. Yeah. And that's where it's faulty. Yeah. Because I didn't have that. So I've been through rehab 5 times because each time was unsuccessful because I didn't have those skills. Yeah. I would just go back out in the world. I'd be good for a couple of days, and then... I mean, you know what? I haven't talked to so-and-so in a while. Let's hit him up and see what he's up to. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm clean now. You know, I really don't want it around me. But that's their thing. So at some point in the night, it comes out. And when you're an addict, you don't have that willpower to say, no, I don't want to do this. Yeah. You just go, fuck. I mean, one time's not going to hurt. And it always starts with that. One time's not going to hurt, and it builds from there into something that you can't control. And then you're back in rehab. Yeah. The eye-opener for me was, well, one, the last time I went to rehab, I no longer had health insurance, so I had to pay for it out of pocket. Holy shit! Talk about pricey. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. 2 days in, I'm looking at a $3,200 bill. I'm like, oh, check it out. I'm done. I got out and I called my friends. I said, listen, you guys have to lock me in a room and leave me there. Occasionally, bring me a sandwich. Yeah. You know, there's a bathroom attached to the room, so I'm good with that. You don't have to worry about that stuff. Mm-hmm. Just check on me, make sure I'm still breathing. And they would just come in to check on me, make sure I'm breathing, bring me food, and that was it. And since then, I've been clean.
That's the way. Yeah, that's.
Because that price, and then the reason I went into rehab the last time is because I saw my best friend die, and that was the linchpin for me. I'm like, that's it. Mm-hmm. Everybody is dying around me from this. I prefer to keep going. I've got a lot of stuff that I've got to do in my head that I have not accomplished yet. Mm-hmm. I'm going to step away. Checked myself in rehab, saw the bill, said I can't afford this, but I've got people that will happily lock me in a room and just do that.
You need this support system.
Right.
That's what.
And all these years later,
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
I mean, he did that a few times. Just found a random hotel away from everybody and locked himself down for a while.
I mean, it worked. It was not easy by any means, and it's still not easy. I mean, once you're an addict, you're always an addict.
Yeah, you're always
it's just a matter of, do you have that mettle to not go back to that? And I've been able to at this point. Like, I've even had it in front of me and said, no. Get it away. I have no desire. I don't want to go back to that person, because that person wasn't somebody that I'd want to be friends with.
Yeah,
I remember that person, and he wasn't a good dude. So, I mean, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Cheers to you, man.
Yeah, cheers, man. Seriously.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's all about keeping breathing. Live another day.
Exactly, man.
Do something new. Like I said, I wasn't done yet.
That's right.
I wasn't done yet.
Our addiction is rock and roll, brother.
That's right. And cigarettes and beer. Because, you know, there's no mild alcoholic here. No. Mild alcoholic? Fuck you. I like my alcohol. I'm good. I'm not one of those dicks.
Right. We can keep it contained. We're okay.
That's right. Sure, maybe I lose my pants occasionally, or...
That's why I drive the band.
This is America, man. This is America.
Right.
Somebody gets licked randomly.
I'll be damned if I can't live in a country without pants.
America! Fuck yeah! Absolutely. But guys, speaking of random shit,
Yeah, I guess so.
because we kind of went off on a tangent there for a moment, got real serious and real deep. But sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
To
No,
connect
that's
with
important.
people. It is.
It's important to have those conversations.
It is. It really is important for you to have these conversations. If you're having issues with addiction, with anything,
Depression, anything.
talk to somebody.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a professional.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to be a hospital. Talk to anyone. Anyone at all. Because I'll tell you from personal experience, just talking to somebody about what's going through your head can be a fucking huge help.
Yeah.
And at least get you on that path, that road,
Yeah.
to moving beyond it.
Just even being able to say it out loud puts a lot of things into perspective. Like,
It does.
wow.
It really does. To where you look at it and go, I'm fucked. I need to really work on this. And you need to work on it. It's not something that just happens.
Yeah.
It needs effort. It needs focus. And it takes time. Sometimes a couple of times. But if you're having these issues, reach out and just talk to someone. An offhand conversation even. But talk to somebody. Because
People do care. People care, you know? Like, there's this weird stigma around the social interactions now where you make small talk, and you're not supposed to go outside the small talk, and nobody cares enough to know, like, what's really going on. Like, when people ask, how are you, you think that they don't really want to know. But if you were to honestly, if somebody asked you that in the casual way, and you honestly said how you are, people would give a shit. And it's a stick, like, you have to break through it, because people may think they want a small talk, but as soon as you take them out of the small talk and you get down to it, they have some shit too.
Oh,
right.
You know?
Everybody's got skeletons in the closet.
It's important.
Right.
Human to human, real interaction.
And I feel like part of that's coming from our society now where it's all about social media, where it's about likes or whatever emoji is attached, and it's so detached from everything that people feel like that's what everybody's like, and it's not the case.
I've been saying it for years, man. Social media causes you to think less and react more.
Mm-hmm.
True, very true.
But yeah, if you're having issues, bring it up to somebody. It could be an offhand comment. People fucking care. We care. If you're having issues, you can message any one of us.
Oh, yeah.
We might not even know you, but if you're
People
having
have.
fucking troubles, message one of us. Sometimes talking to a stranger is easier than somebody you know.
Yeah.
But fuck, we're here to help. Your friends are here to help. Your family's here to help.
Yeah.
Talk to someone.
Well, even social media doesn't have to be some shallow thing, you know, like, most of the time I post funny, whatever things, but if I'm really going through something, I put it up there. I tell people, and, I mean, the reactions that I get are really amazing. Like, people reach out to me personally to say, I've been going through something similar, or, that spoke to me in this way. Like, you can use social media and make it not so shallow. Like, it's, like, people, you hear it a lot, like, oh, don't put your personal shit out there. It's like, I mean, I guess you don't have to be detailed, but even just to get up there and be like, this is what I've been feeling lately, and this is what I've been doing to try to deal with it. People do relate to that, and they need to hear it.
Right.
And they will reach out to you to say, hey, I've been feeling the same way. It's, you can use that as a positive tool.
Right. I mean, they might even give you tips on, like, listen, this is what I've been doing to help myself.
I've gotten so much help that way myself, and I've been able to help other people that way. It can be a positive tool if you use it right.
Exactly. It really can.
Nick and Dan will be back after these ads.
Silo City Alive 2, an afternoon of music and art. Sunday, July 1st, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., $10. Free admission for kids. Come on down and check out the local music and artwork at Silo City 105 Silo City Row, Buffalo, New York.
Sunday, July 1st, 2018. Captain Beyond at the Sportsman's Tavern with Stationwagon. 6 p.m. start, $30 pre-sale. 326 Amherst Street, Buffalo, New York. Tickets and details at sportsmanstavern.com. If you want to have more of the Nick and Dan Show weekly, be sure to check them out on YouTube at XM Priory, EXHAMPRIORY, Tuesdays every week. Yeah, the bros are back, so pay attention.
It's like we've done this once or twice over the course of 2 seasons now.
That seems legit.
I like it.
Yeah.
Fuck yourself.
So welcome to another episode of the Nick and Dan Show. Today we have got members from Crooked Gener8ion. So how crooked are you exactly? Is it like a slight bend, or are there a couple of jagged ways there?
It's pretty crooked.
It's pretty crooked?
Yeah, we're pretty messed up, I think.
All right. So what's going on, gentlemen? How are you today?
Pretty good. We're glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
We're glad to have you guys on here. So we got Matt and Ryan from Crooked Gener8ion, just hanging out here at the All WNY News and Radio Studio.
Yep, that's what the sign says.
Yep, that's what the sign definitely says. Good, I know where I'm at for once. We're going to fix that real soon.
Real soon. Although this time you're not drinking a fifth of Wild Turkey 101, so.
I was thirsty.
Yeah.
Really thirsty.
Yeah.
I was even thirstier the next day. I don't get it. I drank so much. Why was I so thirsty? It doesn't make sense. It's all liquid, right?
Drank so much, but he was still a little dehydrated.
Wee bit.
Just a wee bit.
Whatever, that was a fun night.
Right.
You guys, tell us about Crooked Gener8ion.
We've been playing for about three years or so.
Okay.
Like actually Birdfest is going on today, and like the very first Birdfest, like 3 years ago or whatever, was like our first like real show. So I mean we've been kind of hanging around for 3 years or so, and for the most part, and B's always been in it, and Gabe couldn't be here today, but he's always been in it too.
All right.
And then we've had a few drummers here and there come and go, but the three of us have always been the communication with the members.
So you're saying you got kind of like a Spinal Tap thing going on here, where drummers just kind of come and go.
Pretty much, yeah.
Have any spontaneously combusted?
To the horrible gardening
like
accident?
the middle, like maybe the second one did.
Well, guys, here we go. We've got our new Spinal Tap. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Crooked Generation.
Yeah, you know, they...
Where's Rob Reiner?
Yeah, I don't know. We should start getting like a fire extinguisher.
I think a fire extinguisher is always valuable to have on
With
stage.
us, yeah.
You never know what might catch fire.
Yeah.
Could be a band member, the stage.
Drummer could blow up.
Right, they could. I mean,
be our track record.
right, I mean, there's a lot of wood around a drummer too that could easily catch fire. You gotta make sure to be on top of that shit right away.
Last thing you want to do is have another Whitesnake incident.
Oh,
Too soon?
never too soon for that thing. Ever. I thought that was Great White.
I don't know. Could be. There's something.
There's some 80s band, I don't know, they're all kind of interchangeable to a certain extent.
Right.
Actually, Whitesnake was really good early on. I had no idea they kind of had like a Deep Purple-y thing going on, like in the late 70s. I'm like, holy shit, I gotta revisit this band because this is awesome. But back to Crooked Generation. So you guys qualify yourselves as pirate rock.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, I love the imagery that brings. Where did that originate from?
I kind of like always liked pirates.
Okay.
Even when I was little. I was like super into the movies, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Okay.
Especially when I maybe I was like 10 when it came out. So, and I mean, it kind of was just like, you know, we wanted something to hang up as a backdrop.
Right.
But, you know, we didn't have anything as a band, so I was like, we could get a pirate flag. And we did that for the first Birdfest. That was like the first time we ever did it. So like 3 years ago, we just hung up at the Forum, which was a cool place.
Yep.
We bought like this pirate flag and just like tacked it into the wall.
Nice.
And then it kind of stuck. And then one of the songs is about pirates, like our first ever song. And then our slogan has always been we like girls, pirates, and rock and roll. So it's kind of those are like our three favorite things.
What a great slogan
That's what our
right there.
t-shirts say.
Right?
We sold those on tour. People didn't even listen to our music. They would come to the shows late, and they'd be like, I like girls, pirates, and rock and roll too. And then they'd buy our t-shirts. So.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I don't have one of those yet. I'm going to have to get myself one.
We'll give you
Now,
one, so.
how much do the t-shirts go for?
I mean, really, whatever you want to give us. Usually at shows we do 10.
All right, there we go.
But I mean, we're open to doing deals. You know, we're at the point where it's just, you know, people wearing our merch.
Right.
It's cool. So I mean, whether it's a bracelet or a CD.
Right.
You know,
That's
I mean,
cool.
usually if people have already paid and they're at the show.
Right.
And they don't want to spend $10 on a shirt if they're like $5 or something. It's like, you know. So it's negotiable.
That's cool. So beyond t-shirts, what other merch do you guys usually rock when you're out at the shows?
Bracelets are like, we're a big seller. That was like the easiest thing to get our hands on when we first started and cheapest.
Okay.
And those were cool because we were able to pay off buying them within like a day.
Right.
And then like once they're paid off, they're kind of cool things to like give away. Like on I do a lot on Twitter.
Okay.
So usually if we get like a direct message from somebody who seems interested, I'll send them like a letter and a bracelet. So that's kind of been cool because it's cheap to send them out.
Right.
But we've got like bracelets in like 20 some states or so.
Nice.
Probably.
That
So
gives you that whole direct contact with the fans.
yeah, that's what's cool
Right.
about I love Twitter for that
That's
reason
cool.
alone. So, and then t-shirts. We had a couple different like styles of t-shirts, but we haven't really branched out too much into merch yet.
Okay.
I've been spending more money on like recording and things. I mean, we have like demos and stuff we sell.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like actual merchandise, it's pretty much shirts and bracelets.
Okay. So background for you guys. You know, did it all start with Crooked Generation? Were you guys in bands prior to that? Talk to us about where you come from musically.
I was in bands, bands, throughout like middle school and like early on in high school.
Okay.
I'm about a year and a half older than him, but he came to my high school. We became friends like 2 months into him going to high school.
Okay.
So we kind of just started jamming right away, like in my room and stuff like that. So me and him have been trying to be in a band for like 4 years. And then when I went to college the first year and he was still in high school, we kind of, didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then around like my sophomore year of high school, which was like college like 3 years ago, then when I called him and then one of my best friends from high school and said, "You want to try it again?" And they were like, "Yeah." And then we added Gabe.
Okay.
And then Greg kind of gave us shows. Because I met Greg I was in a band, Sweather, for a little bit.
Okay.
So that's why I met Greg, and then Greg gave us a lot of our first early shows. And then it kind of... So we really have Greg to thank for kind of getting the ball rolling for us. And then me and him have been playing for like 7 years or something. We've known each other.
Even in the school band, too.
Yeah.
Shit.
With, like wind ensemble
we did that too, man.
and stuff like that in high school. So
Actually, I wouldn't be playing bass if it wasn't for my high school music teacher. Because
yeah.
I was in concert band, I was playing clarinet, and grades were slipping, and I lost the interest. And I still liked music, but I just lost the interest in what I was doing. And he goes, "You want to try something different?" And I said, "What's that?" He goes, "Well, our jazz band needs a bass player. We haven't had one for years." And I was like, "Yeah, I can jump in and play bass clarinet in a jazz band." He goes, "No, bass guitar." He's like, "Well, I'll tell you what, school has one and an amplifier. If you go on your own and take lessons, we'll let you use this." And I was like, "All right, fine, whatever." And that's what got me involved in that shit.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Because even I kind of got my start in, my school, I went to Niagara Catholic. We didn't have a band. We had school choir. So I joined that along with like the musical department doing productions. So that kind of really got me moving with starting to properly learn how to play my instrument. Because every once in a while they need backing instruments. Me and Billy from Billy Draws 2, he was in it too. We both went to the same high school together, and it was fun to kind of get going that way. Plus, it gives you a little bit more appreciation. Like, oh wow, there's more than just hitting the strings here. I actually have to do something with my fingers.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah, we both benefited from having a really, really great high school music teacher.
Right.
Too, so he was awesome. So
that's cool.
I
Yeah.
think that helps because we both played bass in the band because it was like a wind ensemble kind of a thing. So like I couldn't do guitar, but like we did like the tuba parts on bass.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think prior to joining that stuff, I was still doing terrible gutter punk. Like we understood we had an instrument and kind of how it worked, but beyond that, it was all just kind of left open for interpretation.
You plug it in here and you turn this knob and it makes noise.
Yes. Now hit the distortion pedal and it makes more noise. I love it. This is terrific.
And feedback, yeah.
Woo! Feedback. I'm like, oh my God, there's more to it than just that. Okay, I guess I gotta learn something now.
Right.
But no, that's cool. So really, so for you guys then it was more just kind of stuff going on and eventually culminated in Crooked Gener8ion.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because it took time to learn how to do things
Mhm.
the right way. Like, I mean, I think when I was in like grade school and high school and I wanted to be in a band, but you have no idea, like.
Right.
So I think when I went to college that first year, I benefited because I took a lot of music classes,
Mhm.
and so I got like advice from the professors on how to do things. But I think also just getting like you had to be older a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I mean, to learn. And then being in Sweather helped me too,
Right.
because they kind of knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to be young and have that pipe dream, but like you said, until you get older and like actually understand it, it's just a giant commitment to be in a band to aspire to go somewhere, whether it's regionally, locally, national, whatever.
Mhm.
It's so much of a responsibility to have outside of your normal life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think once I was in college, and then the original drummer, me and him were the same age around that, and then he was older too, so that was kind of gave us a little bit of
Like a perspective, maybe.
Yeah. Like we were older and we knew kind of what we were doing now, instead of just like slashing away at like random things as a bunch of like 14-year-olds in a bedroom.
Right.
And like actually knowing how to book shows, and like I think just being mature too.
Yeah.
Like knowing that it's responsible. You have to you can't like jump on a show and then not play it or not promote it.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Be prepared and things like that. So.
Absolutely. Right. Now you guys we were talking earlier, you got that old school kind of stripped down rock and roll route to you. Is that just based on your influences, or is that just from what you guys had done previously? Where did that particular sound come from?
I think a lot of it is, probably our, just what we listened to growing up. like the first band I grew up with like the Rolling Stones and like the Eagles because of my dad and stuff like that. But like the first band I found like on my own was probably it was weird because it was like Green Day and Metallica were like the two first bands that I found and then actively sought out their music.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, but especially Green Day, like that was my first concert when I was like 13. So I think but then Green Day led me into the more like the real punk kind of stuff. So like the Clash and the New York Dolls and T-Rex, those are like some of my favorites. But then like the rock kind of comes in because Aerosmith's like all time my favorite. So it was like, they kind of made me want to start Crooked like up again for real. But I mean, yeah, we have a lot of influences. Like, I mean, we don't sound, I think, anything like our influences, kind of, which is weird.
Yeah.
Because, like, someone will come up to me after a show and they'll be like, oh, and I'll be like, Against Me is, like, my favorite band, like, from the punk kind of thing. But we don't really sound like Against Me,
Right.
even though they're, like, I mean, everything from kind of how I dress and, like, our, that's, like, all I listened to for, like, a whole year was Against Me. But then, like, I was writing songs that sounded like Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's kind of, I think that's kind of cool, is, like, if you're influenced by bands, but you don't want to necessarily be, like cookie cutter kind of with things. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's also just from maybe like a talent perspective. Like, like I'm not gonna ever say that I wouldn't even put me in like the top probably like 150 guitarists in Buffalo.
Right.
So it's like, I think it's knowing what you can do and then just trying to do it well. Mm-hmm. So it's like I mean. That's why I like the stripped down rock and roll. And I think just people like it too. Mm-hmm. I think there's not a lot of it going on around this time.
Right, it's refreshing to people to get something that's not so overdone and 8 million layers and synths and backing tracks. Yeah. It's nice to see old school rock.
Yeah. I think there's just something to be said for just like, just throwing, some sort of structure together and then just, but B obviously helps like add a layer to it,
right?
Because maybe I'm just doing like the simplistic things, but having him on the bass, it kind of really adds to it.
Okay.
So
another round of stuff. Are you looking for your next amplifier? Are you trying to redefine your sound? Do you need that piece of equipment to complement your amazing guitar playing? Well, look no further. Bison Electronics has what you need. Look up Bison Electronics online. Handmade from the ground up in Buffalo, New York.
Is the banana in your pocket losing its appeal? Not quite as firm and ripe as it once was? Afraid your lady's about to split? Will a capuchin monkey walk away in disgust? Is it about time to consider making nut bread with your mushy fruit? Fear not, it's Bob Paulmana's potassium supplement. Side effects include, but are not limited to, spots on your peel, pale yellow color, loss of erection, opening from the wrong end, low blood pressure, high blood pressure, no blood pressure, unwanted satanic friends, divorce, marriage, polygamous marriage, premature browning, attraction of fruit flies, spontaneous human combustion, feeling of spiritual enlightenment, and finally overwhelming feeling of wanting to add yourself to your favorite breakfast cereal. Bob Paul's potassium supplement. Good for you.
If you want to have more of the Nick and Dan Show weekly, be sure to check them out on YouTube at XM Priory, EXHAM PRIORY, Tuesdays every week. Yeah, coming at you, Professor Lindenberg.
Les Claypool and Snoop Dogg are actually twin brothers. They both lead massively popular musical careers on their own, but are known to get together at Thanksgiving time. They almost conspire against the fans. It's widely rumored that Snoop Dogg wrote most of Primus's music, and that Les Claypool also wrote most of Snoop Dogg's music. They sort of traded around and jammed together, but have never appeared together in the public eye. Little known fact, there are a number of albums that Les Claypool and Snoop Dogg have recorded together but have never been released.
Alright, enough of that. Back to the boys.
Ryan, where do your influences come from?
Probably from the music my parents would listen to. My mom was really into like the 80s stuff, like Michael Jackson and Prince and Madonna.
Gotcha.
My dad was really into like 90s and kind of 2000s rock.
Really?
Yeah, like
Interesting.
there's some Bush in there and like some stuff from like the Killers. You know, I also really like U2, and he kind of got me into U2. And I've been kind of influenced by them a lot recently too, listening to a lot of their 90s stuff. Like
Okay.
experimental stuff they're doing.
Right. Nice. Very cool.
All right, so you guys are kind of like us in an aspect where we got, you know, different members that have different favorite bands or different genres that they aspire to, but when we get together, the music that comes out is just strictly us. This is what happens when the dudes get in the room, and this is what comes out.
And I think we're open-minded too, because like I listen to Prince all the time. Like, I mean, we all both listen to like, I mean, he likes Green Day, and then I like U2 as well. So I think we have, the two of us have always had the most common ground because we're so, I mean, I don't want to say the most open-minded in the bands, but like, we've always seemed to be where like we could go from listening to like, I'll put on like a Green Day song and then we'll listen to Drake. But we both like it. So I think it's, so I think, you know, having that open-minded thing just kind of helps because it doesn't restrict us. Like if he wants to do like a funky bass line that might be kind of Prince-esque or something from the 80s, like a Michael Jackson-like bass line, because I like Michael Jackson too, I won't be like, oh, that's not punk or whatever. And then some of our best songs came from him just doing like a funky kind of a bass line and we just build around it.
I like that though, because you're not pigeonholing yourself into a certain genre. You know, you're playing what you want to play. If you guys like it, fine, fuck it, we're going to play it live. Somebody else may like it. You know, which is, it's a refreshing thing, you know, because there's only so many metal bands. There's a bunch of them, but primarily that's what this area is known for, is like the metal bands, and kind of like the jazz band, or not jazz, but the jam bands, the progressive rock bands. You know, it's not a lot of just regular rock and roll, or even like the eclectic style bands that there's few and far between of in the area, but the ones that are here are phenomenal. You know, so.
And I think that like especially with like our genre, it's important too, because like if we were just strictly like we're just gonna be like punk or like something, you know, then 10 songs into the set, you know. So I think that's why, I mean, you gotta stay somewhat corralled a little bit, so you're not doing like, you know, experimental jazz in one song and then the next song's like a thrash song. But I think as long as it kind of all fits, but there's enough diversity in you, it'll, you know, entice people a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think being open kind of allows you to get more like inspiration and influence from other acts.
Right.
And you've got more to kind of draw from.
Right, because when you're open, you're not sitting there going, it's not really my cup of tea. I don't really think I'm going to pay attention. When you're open, you're like, all right, it's not something I usually gravitate towards, but I like I like what they were doing right there, and it kind of lets you draw in from all different areas.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so first concert for you was Green Day. How about you?
I think it was in 2011. I went to see Blink-182 in my account for Romance in Darien Lake.
Oh, was that when Travis was playing with a broken foot?
I think it was like the Honda Civic tour.
I think so.
Yeah, he had a drum riser, was real high up at one point. Yeah, I was at that concert. That was a good fucking show. That was a really good show.
Yeah, Tom had like a chef hat on or something.
Yeah.
Some really weird beanie.
Dan, how about you? What was your first concert? I don't even know if I know this.
Shit. I think it was Darien Lake for either Godsmack, their first tour through, or Saliva. I can't remember which.
All right.
But I know 10,000 Maniacs opened up.
Random.
I think it was Godsmack.
Even more random. That's not one I would ever expect to see pieced together right there.
No, it wasn't 10,000 Maniacs. It was, I always get these two confused. 1,000 Foot Crush or something?
Very different bands, Dan.
Yeah, I know, but I always get them confused.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like really different bands.
Yeah. I know.
Well, the name, 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000, 10,000.
Some sort of number in some sort of verb or noun.
Right, there you go.
It'd be like, it's like Sum 41, Blink-182.
Yeah.
Like, I mixed them up.
Right.
Whatever. But yeah, I think it was, I definitely think it was Godsmack, but I'm pretty sure it was 1,000 Foot Crush that opened up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine was the Grateful Dead.
Cool.
1989.
That explains a lot.
Whatever. I like the Dead. I like the Grateful Dead. That's one of the few jam bands I got into. The rest of it kind of got lost on me to a certain extent. Like, it's cool to kick back and listen to as like background music, but when you go into a 40-minute breakdown, I just kind of it loses its luster a little bit after the first minute. It's like, okay, can we get back to the song now, the part that I know? I really like that. Can we go back to that now? No, we're not going to? Okay, I guess I'm going to sit back.
Dan corrected. It was Carfax Abbey at Niawanda Park in Tonawanda.
Ooh.
I stand corrected because it was my childhood friend Danny, his father brought us out there to go see them. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I think he liked them. It was just something to do, I think.
Right.
But yeah, I think it was like 9 or 10. And we went out there and I saw Carfax Abbey at Niawanda Park.
Okay.
And I remember coming back home, he had an older brother, and the bass player threw out a pick. And his older brother had known nothing about music, nothing about guitars. And he looks at this pick, and it's a flimsy pick, it's not a heavier gauge pick. He was like, oh, apparently their bass player can't afford bass picks, and threw it right back at him. I was like, dude, you can play bass with any pick.
Yeah.
You can play bass with your fingers. And he was like, no, you can't. Shut up. Fuck you. So, yeah, I specifically remember that conversation. But yeah, it was Carfax Abbey at Niawanda Park.
Okay. Best concert you've seen? I know, that's a tough one, because I've seen a lot. That's a tough one to always come up with the best concert you've seen.
I could probably subdivide it into like the best concert from like a fan perspective in terms of like the crowd, because I've been to a lot of concerts where the crowd kind of ruined a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Motley Crue's final tour at Darien Lake's a good example of that.
Yep.
And I saw I was at Slipknot and Slayer years ago, and the lawn was just a war zone.
Yeah, I remember everybody jumped over the fence from the mud pit.
Yeah, so
I was like 3 rows from the fence.
Yeah, so it was like it wasn't almost even enjoyable at that point because you were like, I might die tonight.
I always knew I was going to go. I never thought I'd be like this.
Or like Cannibal Corpse was like Uproar one time.
Yeah.
They were in the parking lot of Darien Lake, and like whoever thought it would be a good idea to have Cannibal Corpse playing where the ground was gravel.
Yeah.
Was not a good idea.
Yeah, that's a dick move right there. Dick move.
But like best concert I've ever seen was probably Muse.
Okay.
I saw them in Pittsburgh just like this past summer.
Nice. They put an awesome live show too.
Like and I've seen a lot of great bands like historically like famous ones. Like I've seen Foo Fighters would be up there as far as like greatest concerts, but I've seen the Stones and Pearl Jam and all that, but like there was just something about Muse that just blew me away.
Okay.
It was just one of those things from like the minute they went on stage to like the end. So if I had to pick, it probably would be Muse.
All right.
But I've seen so many that
I
probably forgot one, and then tomorrow I'll wake up and be like, oh, I saw.
I can't believe I didn't say this one yesterday.
Yeah, it's like
all right, call it back. We'll film it again.
Right. Ryan, how about you?
I don't know. When I was 14, I was really into Panic at the Disco.
Okay.
And I came to the town ballroom, and that was probably the first show that I was really close to the performer. I really kind of felt this energy with them, and I kind of knew all the songs too, so I really kind of had a really good time there. And then I remember, I forgot when it was, but I saw Bob Dylan when he came to town.
Oh, nice.
And it was really cool.
Oh, yeah, it's passable.
Nice. Yeah. That's cool.
There was this really cool set design and lighting, and it was just a cool atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was at Shays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't understand what he was saying.
No.
It was still enjoyable.
Never
when you get to that point, it's almost just seeing them.
Yeah, it's more just the act of I got to see him perform live.
Kind of like the Stones. It was like I almost could care less how they sounded. It was just seeing Keith Richards in person.
Right.
They've done so much. It's to see them in the flesh.
Just to watch the walking corpse actually walk the stage.
Yep.
I had a thought. Even though Muse was probably the best, Against Me is my favorite to see live.
Okay.
I've seen them 6 times, I think, and just every time they're like what a punk band everything they should they don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
They talk maybe 1 minute, and then they play 23 songs every show. It's some weird number they have with that number.
Mm-hmm.
But it's they come on and they play 23 songs pretty much straight, and it's an hour and a half, and then it's just.
And that's it.
Yeah, and it's just music, and it's not a lot of banter, and it's not a lot of sometimes I think, especially recently, that kind of becomes too much of shows, especially like with just people kind of maybe pushing agendas and things. And it's just I like going to see, like I saw Manson like 2 weeks ago, and he just played music. It's like I just enjoy it more. I think
it's like escapism kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when he doesn't fuck up your favorite Manson song. When the band actually remembers how to play Lunchbox, you know.
Dan was a little upset about that.
I was very upset at that.
Therefore, Nick and Dan will be right back. Whether you're looking for a cold drink or just a place to hang out, make sure to come down to the River Pub, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. Open 7 days a week. Come on down to the River Pub and have a cold one. Hang out on the patio out back, or stick around because there's something going almost every evening. And is the pub not quite enough? Are you also looking for some grub? Stop right next door at Submariners,
where we pride ourselves with amazing quality products with generous portions.
See you down at the River Pub or Submariners, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. Check them out online for more details. Down at Dan and Nick's Used Guitar Emporium, you're only going to get the best deals from shrewd negotiators.
So I'll give you 15% off. Because it is vintage, there's a price tag on that of $50.
I was going to say 15.
15? Yeah.
Take 15?
No deal's too
What
good.
about 25?
About 9.
What if I give you 5 and then you give me 10?
Wait, that ain't right.
Thinking it's got 4 strings, so it's worth like $400. We're open from whenever to whenever.
We have hours?
Beer. What?
We have hours?
I think so.
What are they?
Matt.
Numbers. Time of day.
Letters.
I mean, there's an AM or a PM.
Dan and Nick's Used Guitar Emporium, where we don't take it seriously, so why the hell should you? Still here? Good, because we're back.
So that night I went and saw Badfish, tribute to Sublime. And that was a good show. They're always a fun time. I was a little bummed that, because all the members, they're in a ska band called Scotty Dome, that they open, and then they've got something else in between, then they all come back up and they do the Sublime stuff. But they didn't play this time. I was a little bummed. I'm like, aw.
Yeah,
they've usually got the full horn section and everything going.
Yeah, I've seen Badfish a few times.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're really good. I actually like them more than Sublime with Rome. Because they're okay, but it's not the same. They've lost a little something.
Yeah, I saw them at our park, and I don't even think Bud was drumming that
No,
show either. So
he
it was
wasn't.
it wasn't even Sublime at that point.
Right.
It's like
It
one
was like
member's
it was like one.
Yeah.
It's like Evanescence nowadays. It's just Amy Lee.
They could just stop. I'd be happy.
Yeah, that too.
All right, Dan. Best concert for you?
2 separate shows. The band is Chimera for both of them. The best crowd reaction was a Darien Lake concert when they played at Ozfest. Again, second stage in the gravel. Horrible fucking idea. But they were in the middle of playing Severed, and they went down to a big dropout, and he raised his hand, and the crowd split all the way back to the sound booth, so it was just a giant wall of death, which was phenomenal. And then I saw them in Toronto at Club Government, and it's a room that holds about 1,000 people.
Yeah.
But it was a nice, first of all, the venue itself is just beautiful, but it was a nice kind of intimate kind of thing. You could get right up to the stage. You know, nobody was rushing the stage. They had a few people that were kind of hanging out, but you could walk freely through the venue. And that was actually really cool because it was like Chimera was playing for me.
Cool.
You know.
Nice.
But yeah, the whole second stage Darien Lake thing is on the gravel.
Yeah, that's not good. You should just keep
It's a good idea because you can fit a lot of fucking people out there, but then you got to take into account the kind of bands that are going to be out there. So all right. Kids may be moshing. Yeah, just put them in the fucking gravel.
Yep. Go for it.
Yeah.
For me, it's between 2. It's either Blue Man Group, which you wouldn't expect it to be a great rock show,
I've
but
seen them.
Holy Christ!
Yeah.
Like when I saw them, they had this grand piano just on its side with the top ripped off. Dude walks up to a male and just starts hitting the opening chords for Baba O'Reilly by The Who.
Yeah.
And then they just barrel into it. It's probably one of the best performances I ever saw in that fucking song. I've seen The Who.
Yeah.
But man, that was just, it was almost cathartic at that point. It was just, it's like so good. And they're so creative with like the PVC piping and everything. That really impressed me. I would say that probably would be one of the best concerts I've ever saw. Aside from that, as far as an experience, which Edge Fest was it where it was fucking Bad Religion? You know, it might have been Warped Tour when they were still at LaSalle Park.
Never been to either one of them.
It was Bad Religion, Andrew WK.
I forgot about that.
And I forget the other ones around that bill, but those two alone just took the fucking day. I remember I got backstage, somebody with a press pass was getting pukey, so, like, anybody want my pass? I'm like, me! I snatched right out of it. Give me it! Wandering around, I had to be like maybe 14, 15, because I know I couldn't legally drive. We rode up there, my buddy's grandparents, Winnebago, like, they drove us, and they just waited in the parking lot, we're all inside. But that, as far as experience goes, that one was the best. As far as show, it's got to be Blue Man Group, hands down.
Yeah, I saw them in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
We went on like a band trip or whatever, like years ago, and it was at like the Briar Theater or something.
Okay.
And like we were like the front row, so like they made you wear like the because you got like the slickers, paint and like banana puke and stuff like on you. But that was amazing. Like I knew they were good, but then once you see them, it's like the talent level of the guys,
it's impressive.
It's ridiculous.
It really is. I've seen them a couple of times in Toronto, and they're just every time. First of all, the show's different.
Right.
Every time you go to see it, which is nice. It's not the same kind of played out thing. And it just the talent between the three of them, on like what you said, homemade PVC instruments or trashed instruments, and what they can come out with, and just the comedy behind it. You know, it's a whole separate side.
I like how they get like different singers out there too to sing. So like it's a really cool experience. I really dug it. But that was hands down as far as best concert. That one always jumps right to the front of my mind. And I've seen a lot of concerts, but that one right there, that took it.
Well, speaking about experimental instruments and whatever, what kind of gear are you guys running? Because I know you run a little light as far as local bands are concerned. So what kind of gear do you guys run?
I have a couple amps. I used to have like a really cool Epiphone brand one, but that was like my first amp when I first started playing, but that blew out, and it was just old. My dad has this. I use my dad's old amp. That was like a crate.
Okay.
And it doesn't. I mean, it's nothing special. It's maybe like this big, but it has like this really good, just like punk kind of tone.
It does.
Like it's almost like bad that it's good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's almost so punk.
Oh yeah.
That, you know, and I mean really, because like that was almost one of the things like I kind of regret like being stupid when I was like younger, like in high school. It's because I kind of would see other local bands and they'd be playing out of Marshalls or they'd be playing out of like nice amps, and it kind of like it didn't like discourage me, but it was like, oh well, I don't even have that, so why would I bother trying to do a band?
Exactly.
But then once I was in like again, and then when I was with Sweather, that was like the first time I played like a legit show, and like. That's when I learned, because I was stupid, like they mic you.
Yeah.
So it's like you could play out of a lunchbox, but if it's mic'd properly, like at the Evening Star, you could play out of a lunchbox, and they think you're playing out of, you know. So I mean, you know, Vox is my favorite brand of amp. I played out of those a lot. So I mean, you know, I'm saving up for one of those. Okay. And then guitar-wise, I mean, I'm not too picky. I know there's some people that are like, I only play one brand. Yeah. Really, as long as it sounds like if I can play it. But Fender's always kind of been my favorite.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just they kind of are.
They have a certain feel to them.
They have a nice feel to them, and you know, I know like for certain genres, there's like guitars that go well. But I mean, you know, but like.
Well, I mean, you even take like John Five, who was big when he was playing with Manson, and now he does his little country thing, but has always played out of Telecasters.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, granted, they're hot rodded to his spec, but, you know, he's obviously fell in love with that brand and can do pretty much anything with it.
Like, even, what's his name? Jim Rube plays the Telecaster.
Yeah.
And Slipknot.
Right.
And then, you know, Mick's got those, you know, like more metal-y looking guitars too.
Mm-hmm. Well, which one from, as far as guitars go, what is it, is it Tom or, I forget the other one's name from Blink-182. One of them rocks like an ES-35.
That's Tom DeLonge.
Yeah, up on, so a semi-hollow body is not anything you expect to see in like a punk rock band.
Right.
Sure as shit, there it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, the type of guitar doesn't matter. As long as you can make it sound good and it feels good, that's what really matters.
Exactly.
And,
Ryan, what are you running?
Well, I either use like a 10-watt D-amp that I got when I first got my first bass, or I use like this Behringer amp I got.
Okay.
I got it used for like $100 at Guitar Center, and it's 100 watts.
Yeah, that's
so
a nice
it's
one.
really like.
Yeah.
And then bass-wise, I mostly use a Fender P-Bass.
Okay.
I do have a Rickenbacker, like a 4003S, but I'm just kind of too lazy to really get it set up. Like
Nick and Danley back after these ads. Are you looking for your next amplifier? Are you trying to redefine your sound? Do you need that piece of equipment to complement your amazing guitar playing? Well, look no further. Bison Electronics has what you need. Look up Bison Electronics online. Handmade from the ground up in Buffalo, New York.
What's up, fuckers? It's Dan from Dan and Nick's Used Guitar Emporium. Guess what we just got in? This motherfucker right here. You see this goddamn thing? This is what we like to call an extreme bass. Do you know why we call it an extreme bass? Because it's in the shape of a fucking X. It's so fucking metal. And obviously, I know metal. Like Nickelback and Katy Perry. And for reference, that latest Katy Perry album was fucking bonkers. It'll melt your goddamn face from the inside like a firework. See this thing right here? The headstock is pointy. So when you're in your fucking metal bands, you can impale your enemies. You can put their fucking corpse heads right on the goddamn guitar and play on the fucking stage with their heads on the guitar. Now I know what you're thinking. Dan, that bass has only got 2 strings. And you're fucking right. Do you want to know why it's only got 2 strings? A, it's rare. B, are you a bass player? Do you want to take your Delta Death, sludgecore, sewer grind, new metal band to new heights? Do you want to take your guitars and your basses and drop them to Q quarter flat? This fucker will do it right here. Because if you're going that low, you need room between the strings to move. Otherwise, they're just going to slap together and sound like shit. Filthy from corn. So, come on down to Dan and Nick's Used Guitar Emporium where we have this rare 2-string bass. Could be yours. And it's fucking extreme.
And we're back.
No, it's going back to, like the size of the amps and everything. Like, I mean, we got a lot of fucking gear. But mainly it's a stage presence kind of thing. Like you were saying, you don't need, back in the day, okay, yeah, you had to have half stacks and full stacks and shit. Even coming up to like early 90s when you were playing some of the smaller venues and they didn't have a good sound system. But now, I mean, you can even go to dive bars and they'll have everything so you can walk in there with a 10-watt amp. And sound just as big as the band before you that had full stacks. It's just crazy. Plus, the amp technology's come a long way, too, even with solid state. Because I remember, like, when I first started playing bass, same thing, I got one of those packages with one of those little 10-watt combo amps, and if you turned it above 3, it was just a pile of shit, Unless you went to tube amp, you can get a 10-watt tube amp and play with the best of them. But now, just the amp technology alone, which is kind of nice, because you can... 4 of you guys can roll in like a minivan.
Yeah, but it is nice because I've been in bands either like as a full-time member or even just like filling in, and it's like all the amps got to be wheeled in, and I think too, especially with like local shows, especially if it's like if you're on a schedule, I think it's just like we've like gotten compliments from certain sound guys that are just like you guys are you put them on. And it might be a bad thing, but I mean, I'm pretty, I'm not too particular about sound checks and things like that. It's kind of like, I would rather just go with it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, eventually, I do want to at least get like a box or something and like upgrade it because there is the sound quality.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of you're more of that punky, but you kind of almost have that British tone to you, anyways.
Yeah. So I mean, it kind of as long as it's kind of got that, and Against Me uses Vox, so that's kind of where I like, that's a little copycat. But I was like, but then I played one and it's like the closest I've gotten. Because I've played out of like Black Stars and stuff, and I mean they're cool for getting like that grungy rockin' kind of thing, and like Fender amps have always been cool. But I mean, again, I'm not too. If I can get like just enough of a grungy sound, I'll just go with it. I'm not gonna, I don't want to be one of those people who like, checks every knob.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, it's gotta be just a little more.
I mean, I am particular. Like, I don't want to, you don't want to sound clean.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, as long as it gets the job done.
Yeah. So then, like, even if you open up my rack case, there's a little strip of masking tape. It's okay. The bass should be in this general area. Middles are in this general area. Trebles here, masters there. Good enough. I'm not fucking with the EQs and everything else. As long as this lines is somewhere in the general area here, we're okay.
Yep, we're good. We're good.
It doesn't have to be at fucking 3 1/4.
Yeah, you don't need much for amp. I mean, fuck, I've played shows before Axon Priory. I've played shows with little fucking pig nose amplifier. And now with fucking PAs now, that's all you fucking need. It pretty much acts like a preamp to give you your sound boost, and they do the rest.
Yeah,
right.
To make you sound like a whole wall of half stacks.
Yeah.
Which is cool because we are kind of blessed with some pretty good venues around here.
Right.
That the sound guys, take care and they know what they're doing.
Well, even that too. When you like with these local shows with multiple bands, it just makes it that much easier to get on and off stage. Like we've kind of got it down to a science because we have so much fucking shit, which we really don't even need, but
we need it.
We've kind of.
I need all of my guitars.
Yeah, we've got it down to a science where it's like, okay, like 5 minutes on and off.
Right.
You don't have to be one of those people who opens up your case and this cable has to be coiled this way and put here. You don't do that. You rip your fucking shit off. You do it after.
Yeah. Yep.
You
Yeah, we rip it off and then we'll do it outside or something, or just throw it all in boxes and we'll deal when we get to practice on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. I'm a mess after a show.
But I mean, it's kind of nice to have that smaller amp where it's like, all right, now I have my guitar and my amp and we walk out the door.
Like I remember the first time we played ever, like Broadway Joe's.
Oh,
and like he had his literally like the Dean is this, it's like this, like and it like my body was like shaking because of how loud Broadway Joe's was. But I was like, I looked over at him, I was like, what are you? Who are you? And he was playing on his little Dean, but it sounded like he had like this huge like.
Oh yeah.
So I mean that's super cool. I mean, like you said, there are some venues like Sugar City doesn't have the capability to mic everyone up. So I mean, sometimes at that time you're at your mercy. Like on tour, when we did like a little tour, a lot of it was DIY.
Yeah.
So a lot of the shows were like in a basement.
Right.
I mean, I was lucky enough that if it comes to that, then I usually just borrow somebody's amp because I mean, there's no way. Like I don't even take my amp on tour because I just borrowed it, but. Sometimes you're at the mercy of that, but I mean, for shows that are typically at real venues, especially like, Mohawk Evening Star with like sound guys that really know what they're doing, you're fine.
Right.
Absolutely.
Sometimes he even doesn't use him, he just goes direct.
Yeah.
He's kind of just clean, straightforward bass. So I mean, it sounds perfect.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't even...
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you can go direct, especially with a lot of the bigger venues around here, like you were saying, Mohawk and Evening Star, you have that room to move around on stage. Even Mohawk, depending on if they're backlining or anything, the stage can get a little cramped.
Right.
But, I mean, if you would go to a stage like Stamps, even, where if you can go direct, that's in your benefit anyways, because the stage is so small,
Like, I know, like, when the waiting room used to be a thing, they backlined for, we played with Linsky when they did, like, an EP release, and we were, like, in the middle of the show. But even us, and the stage in the studio was upstairs was huge. Like that stage was gigantic. And like even with 2 bands, amps behind us, and that was it, the stage felt cut in half. So I mean like, sometimes with that, like sharing gear and things like that make it better. Because I mean when you have a giant, that was probably the biggest stage other than Evening Star that I've ever been on.
Yeah, that stage was pretty
And
big.
even that one got cramped when we backlined. So.
Right.
Yeah, I remember there was one show we played at Evening Star where we backlined everything. And just, I mean, out on the floor it sounded good from what I had heard, but on stage you couldn't hear shit.
I remember,
the monitors were...
Yeah, you were...
Right,
Yeah, we were
Oh, with,
crammed right up
what was
front.
it? It was Doyle.
Yeah.
I think it was
We were crammed right up front, like the monitor. And the thing is, I knew that Greg was doing his job, because anytime I ducked down, like for a guitar part, I could hear everything clear as a bell. But when I was singing, those monitors were kicking right at, was kicking at your crotch.
Yeah.
So great, your junk is going to hear a great fucking on-stage sound. The rest of you is kind of left out.
Yeah, like, cause that was definitely the show. Because, like, the riser wasn't available.
Yeah.
So, like, you were, I remember that one.
Yeah, we were jammed right up on those monitors, and at that point, there's nothing you can do. So it's like,
you kind of just gotta trust
And that was the thing, like, credit to the local bands that had opened up, too, because we pushed all of our shit pretty much right on top of each other.
Right.
But we gave Doyle's stuff, like, a good foot and a half. We didn't want to get anywhere near it.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I know, but I actually specifically remember,
no.
I think I was telling you when you guys were setting up, if you want to put your amp on top of mine, fine.
Yeah, because we had the little one that was,
just even if you want to take it out of the floor, whatever, just put it up on top of the road case, it's fine.
Right.
But yeah, that was definitely Doyle.
That was a craft night. There's a lot of gear present that evening.
Yes, there was. I'm pretty sure his fucking cabinets blew my shit apart.
I'm pretty sure, remember, because I fucked my back up that night hauling those fuckers.
We were taking his bass player's rack case off the stage.
Holy yeah, that was a 4-person job. We had 4 people, and it still fucking hurt.
Yeah, because I think he had the 2 SVT3s or 7s.
Mm-hmm.
No, they were either 3s or 5s, because they were the bigger 4-space ones. But yeah, fucking, his road crew guy was like, yeah, dude, this is a 4-person lift. He was like, all right, fine. Fucking pick it up. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, like I said, that's the stuff that makes you wonder sometimes.
Right.
Like, I mean, when it's it's almost overkill.
Right. Well, I mean,
especially
a lot
of
of that,
evenings.
yeah, a lot of that is stage presence.
Right.
Because even if you looked at the back of their cabinets, because we got there before anybody else did, actually Doyle was still working out on the stage floor, or the concert floor. But, we were putting our stuff on stage, and I'm always curious. I look at the back of the National stuff and everything like that. And they had the 4 cabinets, but only one of them was plugged in, obviously. But this way you have extras, because they're so loud,
Right.
So if you blow one in Niagara Falls, you can have another one in Michigan.
Yeah, because it's not like Kiss, where there's one that's loaded and the rest are just shells. No, every fucking cabinet was loaded.
They were loaded.
Holy Christ.
And Doyle makes his own fucking guitar cabinets, and they're no joke.
Yeah, they're heavy. They're really
Like,
heavy.
I play out of Ampegs, and Ampegs are heavy because they're built like tanks anyways. His far outweighed his bass player's Ampeg cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, holy fuck.
Yeah, there was a lot of weight to drag out of that room at the end of the night.
And it was 2 Nationals, too, because there was Davey stuff in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember that it was just a clusterfuck at the end of the night trying to separate the gear. Oh, my God.
That was a late night, too.
Yeah.
It was like 1 a.m., I think, by the time he was done.
That was a really late evening. Well, they played a long set, too.
And there was like 7 bands on it, too, because there was like 5 locals and then the 2 touring.
Yep.
So kind of like what we're walking into this week, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there's another National, though.
No,
there isn't.
It's just oil, so.
Yeah. So I guess we got that going for
us.
So many bands, though. So many bands. Once again, no more than 4. Hashtag no more than 4.
Now for some ads from some douchebags.
Ran over my own foot with my truck. Just found out that my dog's got AIDS. But I love America. I love America. Acoustic guitars.
All WNY presents an evening of maddening proportions. Rats on Allen Street. Will your sanity last, or will you lose yourself to the sound of the night? Tempt the fates and release the Cage Kings.
Crash under this white.
Behold the spectacle that is the Scarecrow Show.
Demon screaming and more taking a howl. The monster's lurking just outside your door.
And march with the rats of the Exit Priory. Answer the unnamed call from within. Saturday, July 21st. Nietzsche's 240 Allen Street, Buffalo, New York. 9 p.m. start, 21 and up with ID. $5 cover at the door. Rats on Allen Street.
If you want to have more of the Nick and Dan Show weekly, be sure to check them out on YouTube at XM Priory. EXHAMPRIORY. Tuesdays every week. And we're back.
Yeah.
Or we could just give you a guitar.
Well, I'm a lefty, so it kind of.
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I've
I've
had to
run
go
into
and make
that
it
so
strange.
many times. Yeah, so I always have strings with me.
Right.
That's the one. Like I have a tendency of breaking them, but at least I've always been at least prepared enough that I have.
Yeah, just make sure you got them before you guys jump up there, and if that happens, I'll string it up really quick for you.
Yeah, I can do it. I'm not efficient. And when you've got 30 minutes and the clock's ticking, and it's like
kind of try to talk and crowd work while you're doing it.
Yeah, just if that happens, just throw it at me, and I'll fucking knock it out really quick.
Cool. Fuck, I'll just throw one of yours, and you can Hendrix the shit out of it.
Yeah, I've tried to learn a couple songs of our songs like backwards, so that worst case scenario, I could give it to somebody and then play. But we need to work on more songs where it's like literally just bass and drums. Like just have a song, like give them like a distortion pedal.
There you go.
And just do like a Muse song.
I like it.
So
Or I could just
sing.
Or I could just build you a custom guitar for cheap.
Good. I'm actually looking into getting like I actually love the Fenders that are cheap. I mean, they're cheap, but they get the job done. Like they're like $200.
Oh yeah,
like the Telecaster. Yeah, it's like that's what I play, but it's like that guitar's like.
I actually I bought my wife when she was 16. I bought her one of the Fender or the Squier Bullets right when they were starting to come out with that. And for the longest time, I didn't like the guitar, but I didn't know how to set them up. So I actually learned how to set them up and adjusted everything, and dude, that thing plays like butter.
Yeah, like I've had it set up and stuff too, and like my guitar teacher from Villa like helped me like make little adjustments here and there, and like it gets the job done.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I'm probably gonna look into at least just snagging one of those.
Right.
Quick.
Hell
yeah, even if it's for like a song.
Actually,
Now you tend to gravitate towards the Strat or the Tele a little bit more.
I love Telecasters.
Okay.
Yeah. I love Telecasters.
But say, if you can deal with a Strat, I see them online all the time. I've yet to get one of their guitars, but they're the Hard Luck Kings. They just take body blanks or whatever, and they hot rod into their specific specs. But they always have like a left-handed Strat.
Nice.
And their thing is they're tour-ready guitars for like under $300. So depending on which model you have, and they only make like 30 or so of each model. So when they get down into lower numbers, you can get like a $300 guitar for like $120.
Nice.
They usually always have a left-handed Strat that they're trying to get rid of for like $89.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to fucking know that. Yeah, because that's what I had. It's like the Squier looks like a Strat, but it's I've played like the real Telecasters, and it's like nothing compares to those ones.
Oh hell no.
But those are a little bit more on the pricey side.
Yeah, I never liked the Strat, anyways, because I always hit the volume knob.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to like be like percussive with your strumming, so that like your fist like punches it. So that because I've done that. Or the worst is when you hit the the little like tone switch.
Oh yeah, the toggle switch.
And like if it goes all the way down, it kind of has like this real like obnoxious crunchy kind of a thing, which is only good for solos.
Right.
So like if you're strumming rhythm, like I've done that before, and then I'm like, and then you can't like just casually.
Right.
Because you're like
can't flick the wrist and bring it back up.
Yeah.
That's why I disconnected the one on my Les Paul, because it's right there where I normally pick through. It's like, dude, I would flip pickups all the time. Like, God, no, it's not the sound I want. No.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Yeah.
So I just ripped one of the pickups out and disconnected that fucker. So I hit it all the time, but it's never an issue now.
Nice. That and the one Strat that I actually do have, it's an Epiphone Strat. I just take the volume knob off. Fuck it. I just can't do it.
It's always on full, that's it.
Yeah. Well, you can still adjust the post, but it's easier to hit it with the knob on there and fuck it up than it is to just do it with the post.
Right.
So.
Promo. You were saying you like to use Twitter a lot. Now, how do you guys tend to typically approach promoting a show or something coming up for your band?
Usually, the thing with Twitter's great except for kind of local stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why, like, Facebook, I don't really use like the band's Facebook page.
Right.
Just because, like, I kind of gave up with that when, like, it was maybe 2 years ago. You know how it shows you how many people are reached?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't remember how many, likes we had at the time, but it was like, low 300s or something. And it was like, I made a post about a show, and it's like 3 people saw this post.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm probably one of the 3 people that saw the post.
Right.
And he's probably
Right.
the second guy.
Yeah,
So it's like, I use personal Facebook
Mm-hmm.
if it's like a local thing, because then that way I can reach out to, friends and family, because those
Right.
are most likely the people who are going to come out and see you.
Mm-hmm.
Which I apologize. I just realized while we were looking you up before the show that I never liked your band
That's
page.
alright. I don't really, I haven't even made a post on that. I
Well,
should.
still, I mean, I
should.
try to make it a point where if I see a band that I really like, immediately I'm going to go there because it's just one more drop in the bucket.
Right, yeah.
But it's somebody else, like, people that I know may not know of you until they see that I've liked that
Right,
page
right.
and then bring you there. Like,
That's
I try
cool.
to spread the
That's
love
cool.
that way, too. Plus, I
Mhm.
really do enjoy you guys.
Thank you.
But yeah, I was just looking through, trying to figure out band member names and everything else, because I remember you, but I don't normally talk to you, Ryan. And I was like, oh, fuck, I never liked the page. Shit.
Yeah, but like, yeah, so like Twitter was huge for tour.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I always, when other bands, like, talk to me or whatever, like, Twitter's, like, the first thing I tell them when they're trying to, like, branch out.
Okay.
Because the way I look at Twitter is, especially if you've got, like, a YouTube or a SoundCloud or whatever, and you've got, like, pictures and things, it's almost like touring without touring.
Okay.
Because what I do is, like, I'll go on, like, Against Me, or I'll go on, like, The Struts, or like, a band that people might like us, and, like, I'll kind of see who's following them, and a lot of times I just follow people. Like, I'll go on, like, a following spree.
Right.
But people follow you back,
Hmm.
and Twitter's worldwide, and you can DM and everything. So, like, we'll get a bit, we got a message from, like, some guy in England who has a podcast, and asked if, if we sent him a SoundCloud link, he'd play it.
No shit.
So it's like, and, like, we've gotten, like, what's her name, Leanne?
I think,
Like,
yeah.
Leanne sees this. There's this girl in England who's been wanting us to come play a show for, like, 3 years. And there's, like, a lot of it, like, people from England, So, like, Twitter's, like, incredible for that.
Okay.
Because it's like we've got people in California have our merch because, they were like, they'd send us like a nice direct, like, oh, I watch your YouTube. And I'm like, well, thanks for doing that. Because, like, I'm not one of those bands that's like, send you, if you do, like, follow us, I don't send you, like, every link.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I just say thanks for following. And then sometimes if they take the initiative, then I send them a letter and stuff. So, like, when we did tour with Linsky, some of the cities that we hit up, people knew us from Twitter.
Cool.
So, like, I mean, and it is kind of like you are touring without leaving.
Yeah.
Because it's like people in Oregon have our merchandise and might have, like, our SoundCloud and listen to us, even though, like, we physically would have no way at this point in time of getting to Oregon.
Right.
So, like, for promoting it out, Twitter's what I use. But, like, I mean, for Friday night, like, if I post, like, I mean, I posted it, and it's like, yeah, people from Buffalo follow us on Twitter, so that helps.
Right.
But, I mean, almost anyone I know them. So, I mean, it's kind of like Facebook for local stuff.
Yeah.
Like, personal Facebook.
Right.
But then, like, for Twitter is what I use the
Okay.
most to, like, get it out there.
Nice.
Interesting approach to it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think Twitter makes it more, like, personable, because you can, like, DM somebody, or they
Yeah.
can DM you, and it kind of makes it an easier conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's more sleeker, like, more user-friendly.
And with
Facebook.
yeah, and like too with like Facebook, it's cool because it's like, they like your page or whatever. But it's like, there's only so much I can do locally for Facebook.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like I could friend 1,000 people locally and send out invites, and maybe 200 of them will like you.
Yep.
And that's cool, but it's not necessarily like like you can't use Facebook to get in contact with someone from England just on a
exactly.
whim. Whereas Twitter, it's like there's people from Brazil who follow it. I mean, it's literally almost anything you can imagine.
Yeah.
Because it's like Metallica will play like Madrid,
Right.
and then it's like I'll go on Metallica's Twitter and like see who's following Metallica and click them, and then someone who lives in Madrid who likes Metallica is like, oh, who's this? And then they follow you, and so I mean, anyone who's ever like asked me, like Twitter's what I suggest.
Okay. Interesting. Dan, that's your realm. Get back on the Twitter.
Yeah, I didn't understand it at first.
It takes a little while, but it's been something I'm diligent about it, and I've been doing it for 3 years, and so it's like I think we're like approaching like 10,000 in the follower category. So it's like, and I think that also looks good too. I mean, I know I got to get Facebook up because right now it's like, you know, if somebody was to look, they're like, oh well, then they got 10 people like them on Facebook.
Right.
You know, so I mean, I understand that part of it, like, but I mean, I think. But even more than just the numbers, I find that like Twitter is almost like you're hands-on, reaching out.
Well,
to
people. I listened to this podcast called The Climb, and it's actually an acronym that stands for Creating Leverage in the Music Business. It's 2 guys out of Nashville. One of them is a talent developer, which in a way is kind of almost obsolete, but now they're focusing more on social media, kind of thing like that. And then the other one is a songwriter, and their big thing is. Facebook, with the likes and everything else, it's kind of like a handshake.
Right.
You know, but even Twitter, you can get more, like you were saying, you can get an actual instantaneous conversation with one person.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of what, even if you were to go in like a talent development agency, what they're going to look at is, okay, so you posted this thing on Facebook, you have 300 followers, and you got 294 responses.
Right.
Fantastic. As opposed to somebody, let's just say, a name...
Batman.
Has, I was going to go with somebody else, but I don't want to get sued.
Batman.
Batman has 10,000 followers, but only 300 comments. You know, you look better in that aspect because you have more of a social interaction with your fans. And that was the thing that didn't really... Twitter to me just was a completely different world.
Right.
I'm still trying to learn it because it's all hashtag this and hashtag that. Where on Facebook you can post a thing and have somebody read it. Twitter only gives you so many characters, so it's like, okay, how do I convey what I want to say in 140 characters?
There are limitations. Like I know, if we get photos done at a show, Twitter has this thing where you can only do 4 in a tweet.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, like we'll have like Meredith Snow come to a show and she'll take like 50 fantastic photos of us.
And they're all fantastic.
Yeah. So it's like
great photography.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, I've got 50. And it's like, I can either make photos from the last show, parts 1 through 10, and do 15 tweets, whereas Facebook, I could literally copy and paste her entire email and throw it on. So, I mean, there are nice things like that. I mean, like Facebook, like you said, I mean, like, you can just do whatever you want. Yeah. Whereas there are the limitations with Twitter.
Right.
But another thing to Twitter's credit that I've kind of noticed, I mean, they probably do monitor it, and I'm not technologically advanced at all.
Right.
But I do think that Twitter shows you when you click a tweet, kind of like how Facebook says reached. When you click on Twitter, it says impressions, and it shows you. And from what I can tell, I'm sure they do maybe keep you because you can pay Twitter to like really get it out there.
Right.
But I mean, it seems legit to me how many impressions our tweets would make.
Okay.
So it seemed like I'll make a tweet and it might have like 800 impressions.
Right.
And I'm like, that's probably accurate.
Right.
Whereas with, Facebook, it's like, if you want to pay us $10 a month,
you can get 3 more people.
Then 50 people will see your post.
Another round of elves just for you. Whether you're looking for a cold drink or just a place to hang out, make sure to come down to the River Pub, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. Open 7 days a week. Come on down to the River Pub and have a cold one. Hang out on the patio out back, or stick around because there's something going almost every evening. And is the pub not quite enough? Are you also looking for some grub? Stop right next door at Submariners,
where we pride ourselves with amazing quality products with generous portions.
See you down at the River Pub or Submariners, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. Check them out online for more details.
All WNY presents an evening of maddening proportions. Rats on Allen Street. Will your sanity last, or will you lose yourself to the sound of the night? Tempt the fates and release the Cage Kings.
Crash under this white.
Behold the spectacle that is the Scarecrow Show.
TV screaming and more taking a howl. The monster's lurking just outside your door.
Allen Street, Buffalo, New York. 9 p.m. start, 21 and up with ID. $5 cover at the door. Rats on Allen Street.
Sunday, July 1st, 2018. Captain Beyond at the Sportsman's Tavern with Stationwagon. 6 p.m. start, $30 pre-sale. 326 Amherst Street, Buffalo, New York. Tickets and details at sportsmanstavern.com. Yeah, the bars are back, so pay attention.
Right. That's one thing I've noticed a lot lately, especially since we started doing the sponsored ads on Facebook. I've noticed that since then, our natural, well, let's go with impressions, because I like that word. Our natural, generated impressions have decreased to where it seems like we've got to put money into it in order for people to really see our posts on a regular basis, which is kind of sucky. It's like, son of a bitch, come on, it should be the other way around.
Yeah,
right.
which is why I use the personal one.
Right, yeah, me too.
Because I think it's just,
yeah.
You can, or I just message people directly.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I got a show coming up, I mean, I try not to do it too much because no one wants to be that guy who's like,
right.
hey, I'm in a band.
Yeah,
like, yeah, you and every other person.
Well, even that.
Hey, I haven't talked to you in 3 years.
Yeah.
What are you doing Friday night?
So you gotta pick your spots. But I mean, I do personal, and that's why we try to not oversaturate.
Well, even in that podcast I listened to as well, for every 3 things you put out, you have to give them content 3 times before you can ask for something. Right. Mm-hmm. So if you have a show coming up, let's say 3 months down the line, for 4 months ahead of time, okay, here's this new music video. Right. Look at this for free. Here's this sound clip. Look at this for free. Look at these photos that this photographer took from us. Oh, by the way, we're playing a show.
Right.
So you can't be one of those people like you were saying. It's like, hey, I'm in a band, you should buy this.
Right.
Because they're not going to do it. They're going to be like, who the fuck are you?
Right.
Fuck off.
There's got to be that reciprocity.
Exactly with Twitter, which is why, anyone who does follow them, I send them a message, I'm like, thanks for following, and that's it. It's not like...
Exactly.
Because, we even get messages on Twitter if we'll follow, some band from California, and then the very first thing is, here's our Instagram, here's our Spotify, here's our store, here's our Facebook, here's, Reverb, and it's kind of it's cool, whatever, but I would rather just have people...
Say, hey, thanks.
Yeah, I'd rather just have people,
It's almost seems more personable like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, it's a conversation over the internet.
Right.
Thanks for checking our shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We appreciate you.
And a lot of times people, because I'm, I don't just follow anyone. Because, sometimes I don't. You do got to be careful, But, usually I do at least some homework, and it's like, if someone, if I read some guy's bio and he's following, if he's following Van Halen on thing, and he's like, I love sports, football, and classic rock. I'm like, there's a good chance that this guy will probably follow us when he sees us. And then, you follow him, and then, he's like, oh, I might like this. And then, he goes and, YouTubes, us live, or goes to SoundCloud. And then, he likes you. But it's better than, shoving out at people.
Exactly.
And I think,
And even I see on Facebook a lot of that, too. When we were first starting to build our presence on Facebook, we'd get in touch with a lot of different musicians because it's just the algorithm you are in.
Right.
And same thing. It's okay, invite to like the page, somebody likes it. And it's like, oh yeah, here, like this. Like that, like this, like that. And it's like, dude, where's the genuine conversation?
That's why I kind of always, that's what I don't like about Facebook, too. It's like, I probably could go on my Facebook tonight, and there's probably 200 of my friends who I have the ability to send an invitation to, but I always kind of felt weird doing it. You know what I mean? It's kind of just and if somebody sends me an invite to I always like it.
Right.
And and especially if I know people, but even if I do know them, it's kind of it's just, it's hard to explain it. Whereas with Twitter, your page is almost like you're a person.
Right.
So it's if I follow you, it's because I want to follow, it's because you're probably cool. You know what I mean? So I mean, and that even goes to my own personal Twitter. Like I'll follow people who like the same sports teams.
Right.
And then because you're almost making friends that way.
Yeah.
Whereas with Facebook, kind of getting likes, it almost kind of just seems like, hey, do me this favor.
Yeah.
Just click this real quick.
Exactly.
And Facebook Facebook is obviously much more revolving around trying to get you together with people that you actually know.
Right.
As opposed to trying to meet new people and get into new circles. Mm-hmm. While as I've noticed that with like Twitter and the little bit of Instagram that I've messed around with, those seem more geared towards
like
getting you out there, not just the people you know, but trying to get you with people you don't know.
Right.
Like I know even on Facebook, like every once in a while I'll go through like a adding phase where I'll start to like seek out people that I know that I've met, but I never have them on Facebook. Right. Just people I want to connect with and keep up on. You get to a certain point where you've sent out a certain amount of friend requests, and then after each one you get this pop-up saying, make sure you're only sending friend requests to people that you actually know. It's like, well, fuck you, Facebook. How do you know I don't know these? Listen, it's been 5 minutes. I get that nobody's responded to my friend requests yet. Fuck off for the moment. Let me get done, and then you can deal with me and chastise me.
Just so you know, we only want you to stalk people that you actually have a relationship with.
Right, while as, Twitter and Instagram, there's really no limitations. It's like they really want you to find new people that you don't know, just connect and, branch out some. So I do like that aspect of them. I'm still not in the whole Snapchat thing.
I don't even have.
I'm not really clear what it's all about.
I have one, but it's mainly just me and my wife making faces at each other while we're at work.
Right.
Don't lie. There's probably a lot of dick pics going on there.
No, there's no dick pics.
I've been told that Snapchat is for dick pics.
I'm
like,
fat and white. There's no dick pics.
I mean, I'm skinny and white. Well, skinny-ish and white. There's no dick pics still.
Yeah, right. No, it's usually just pictures of her at work, like, fuck this place, I want to go home. And me like, well, sorry, I'm actually at work doing work, so can't help you.
I just don't get it. It's not my thing. I guess I'm just not that cool.
I'm not really into, we don't even, there's bands that are, super hype on Instagram.
Right.
And they'll be like, oh, why don't you guys have an Instagram? And I'm like, well, it's like, I can post pictures on Twitter. Mm-hmm. I can post videos on Twitter. I mean, it's like,
right.
It's
we can do stuff on Facebook, too, or there's YouTube.
If I was a painter or, a photographer, Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, it's cool if you have an Instagram and you're a band. But I think that would be probably the least useful.
Right, that's when we don't use it a whole lot, really.
Yeah.
No, we've got one.
We have one too, and I think we used it 2.5 years ago.
I say occasionally I remember like, oh yeah, we've got an Instagram. You know what, this photo that Lee Hoffman took of us is really cool. Yeah. I'll throw that up on there. So I'll do a post and then forget about it again for 3 months. Oh dude, that's right, we've got an Instagram. It's right here. Hang on. Scroll through. Oh yeah, Merrick did this photo. Let's put this up here. Somebody random in the crowd sent me this where he's making a goofy face that's totally going up.
Yeah. Well, it's just because the whole social media thing is new to our generation. You know, we came up in the whole street teams. You stand on a corner. This is your corner. These are your flyers in the pouring rain. Come to my show.
Yeah.
I specifically remember doing that, standing outside of what's now the Rapids, then called the Dome Theater.
Yeah.
Freezing cold. It's snowing. I've got flyers. I'm shaking.
Yeah.
And just, hey, playing at Paul Mary's. Hey, come to our show on Friday.
Yeah, just outside.
Please make this worth my while. I'm pretty sure I've got frostbite in most of my digits.
Yeah.
Just come. Make me feel good.
It almost seems like Facebook is the forum that you go on where I have this opinion. I'm going to stand on this soapbox. Listen to me.
Right.
And Instagram, like you were saying, is the artist outside of music.
Right.
So you draw this, you paint this, you're a photographer kind of thing,
right.
And Twitter almost seems like the more direct correlation between them.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I've noticed with Facebook, the feeds are with who you interact with more.
More ads.
Hi there. This is Nick from Dan Nick's Used Guitar Emporium. I know what y'all are thinking out there. Down there at that little small shop, all they got is about 4 guitars and that's about it. You're wrong. Need yourself a microphone? Think you're not fucking loud enough? You're right. You need to be louder so everybody can hear you. Grab this microphone right here. You can hold it like this, or if you want to be an asshole, like this. Need cables? Got them bitches too. Come on down to Dan and Nick's Used Guitar Emporium, where you can make your ass louder.
Silo City Alive 2, an afternoon of music and art. Sunday, July 1st, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., $10. Free admission for kids. Come on down and check out the local music and artwork at Silo City, 105 Silo City Road, Buffalo, New York.
If you want to have more of the Nick and Dan Show weekly, be sure to check them out on YouTube at XM Priory, EXHAM PRIORY, Tuesdays every week. All right, here's some more of the boys.
You call shots.
You got the beard, though.
I'm just a bass player. I play 4 strings and drive the van.
Does do that. Very well with that. Good thing he drives, because most of the time I shouldn't drive.
Yeah. I'm the sober one.
That's definitely not me. I am not the sober one in the band. But I'm also not the one that walks off stage in the middle of a set to go pee.
Oh, I fucking hate that.
I'll kick. Next time he does, I'm going to kick him. Luke, our guitarist, he's done it to us a couple of times now. We're in the middle of a set, we're getting ready to go into a song. He's like, guys, I got to pee, I'll be right back. He just I'm like, motherfucker, I will kill you.
Actually 3 if you count Punks in the Yard, but in his defense, our set was actually over. They called for one more song.
Yeah, they did call for an encore, so he ran off, pissed really quick, and then came back, and we fired up with the encore.
Got most of it on his leg.
Yep. However. Fuck him, goddamn Princess
That
Luke.
place was fucking cool, though.
That was a lot of fun. We literally played behind a single wide trailer in somebody's backyard on these shitty ass fucking pallets that I'm assuming was supposed to be a back patio at one point, but they were rotted to hell. You stepped on boards, they pop up on the other ends. We were screwing with each other the whole time. I'm stopping on boards trying to get him to trip and then Luke to trip. They're messing with me. It was so much fun.
It was a good time, though, because like your view from the stage was literally the woods of Olean.
Oh, like this beautiful like hill with woods and this is awesome backdrop.
They were selling food. You know, it was like for $4 you got a burger and a hot dog and like 2 sides.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Which was good. You know, all age. You know, BYOB. It was just like a big picnic with bands. It
Those
was
are like
sweet, dude.
those are like the best gigs.
Yeah. Right.
Like even the ones like every show we've ever played that was like that you think would just be lame ends up being better than like the shows that you hype up.
Right.
It's like it's ridiculous.
Well, we were originally we were going down there. We were supposed to play the Plant in Olean with the Obelisk. So a couple weeks prior to the show, I reached out to Josh from the Obelisk to say, "Hey, man, you know," or not? No, he contacted us and said, "You know, sorry, we had to move the date for this and that." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Oh, well, we have to play Punks in the Yard. We can't play the Plant anymore." He goes, "My guitarist should have got a hold of you, but apparently he never did." So I was like, "Oh shit, we kind of already had the date. We were planning on going out. Can we jump on this bill?" You know, he goes, "Well, give me a few minutes." So a few minutes later, some other dude, I guess that was running the whole thing, got a hold of us. He goes, "Hey man, I check you guys out on Facebook." "Yeah, absolutely. You know, come on down." Which was pretty fucking cool, you know. And it was all day. Like it started at noon.
Right.
I think we walked out of there at 12:30, 1 o'clock.
It was late. It was really late. The only light that was going on in that backyard was like the backdoor light that was on. It was dark
out. It was
out.
to the backs of the guys playing on stage, so we were actually up there with like cell phone lights,
Yeah.
so they could see their fretboard.
It was funny.
But it was cool. Like we rolled up, and it was literally just a single wide in the middle of nowhere.
This rotted out old fruit stand in front of it.
And we kind of looked at each other. We're like, "Really? Is this what's about to happen?"
What did we get our? Because first we thought we were going because we saw like gear and stuff just sitting around the fruit stand. So we're like, "Oh my god, are we going to play roadside in a rotted out fruit stand to like 5 people and their friends?" Oh,
no, it turned
there
out
we
to be
go.
one of the best shows we ever played.
And we wandered, like, we got out of there, like, okay, well, let's go see what's going on. We're saying, hey, what's going on? Hey, Pete, yeah, we're here to play, too. We go back, like, no, we're setting up back here. We look around, like, okay, not much better, but cool. And it'll be, like, one of the most fun fucking times we've ever had.
Absolutely. It was a good fucking time.
Right, like they had a jeweler there that was doing like custom, like chain link jewelry and everything. I got like a bracelet out of it.
We all did, I think.
Yep. And then I asked him, like, so what would it take for you to make me like a full chain link shirt? She's like, I don't have enough time today to do that. I'm like, damn it. I would totally rock that shit if you got it done by the time I went up on stage. I would totally wear some chain link armor. Absolutely. You guys can be Pirate Rock, we'll be Night Rock.
That'd be a good combo.
You might have to get yourself a helmet to stop you from hitting the headstock on my base.
Right? Pirates versus Knights. There we go.
Yeah, we could be at, like, stamps.
Yes.
We could decorate the stages.
There we go.
That would be perfect, because
I
that was
love it.
the stamps that you broke your head open on my headstock.
Wide open.
So we'll have to get you a helmet.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have seen me on stage. I don't really stand still all that well. I just went head first right into his headstock. No idea I ripped my forehead open. We're finishing playing. I do this. I'm like, the fuck? I look in the mirror, just bleeding all over. I ripped my forehead wide open. Woke up the next morning. I thought I washed. Woke up the next morning. My hair's crusty with just dried blood. Like, whoops.
We played a rock and roll show.
Whatever. It's not a good show unless you got a couple of cuts and bruises on you.
Yeah, there you go. So, gentlemen, we at Exon Priory, we enjoy food, as you can tell.
A lot.
A lot. What's for dinner tonight? Favorite place you like to eat? Favorite dish you have? Favorite dish you like to cook, maybe?
I like going to a lot of different restaurants. I don't know if I have like a favorite. I've been going to a place called Chester's a lot.
Okay.
It's like a Cajun restaurant.
Okay, now where's that one located?
It's on like Cleveland Drive.
Alright.
It used to be on Transit.
Okay.
And then they moved to like the Old Friars Table. If
Oh.
you know that restaurant?
Yeah.
It's the Old Friars Table building because it's bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a lot of like Cajun food, like a lot of like seafood kind of things.
Okay.
But
So
with,
what
like,
you're saying is
Cajun.
you don't like your asshole.
I guess not. No, like they have like po' boys and stuff. Like New Orleans, it's like a lot of that kind of thing. So that's like my favorite probably restaurant to go to.
Alright.
But I like Mexican food a lot. Like there's this place called La Tolteca or whatever, and it's like out near I don't even know. Like maybe Williams? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But they're like super good. It's like a real like Mexican restaurant. It's not like going to like
Might be chocolate.
like or like like a Taco Bell or something. Like it's
Right.
like they make like empanada, like like real.
Right.
So it's this but yeah. So those are like probably my two like real restaurants to go to.
All right.
Okay.
But like pasta is probably my favorite food.
Okay.
Like a heavily Italian.
Hey.
So I eat a lot of but pasta is probably my favorite.
Okay.
If I'm like making food for myself.
Now, any certain pasta dish that you like to go towards particularly, or pasta in general?
Typically pasta in general. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not like Mr. Cook or anything. So like, pretty much it's like boil like noodles and then just put like some sauce on it.
Okay.
But that gets the
Maybe
job
a
done.
meatball or two.
Yeah.
Right, nothing wrong with the classics.
Like fettuccine or something. Something
Okay.
heavy. Then
Hell
just
yeah,
put
man.
some like those little pepper flakes to make
Yep.
it hot.
Fuck
Yeah.
Maybe some sweet peppers, like chop them up.
Ah.
I don't know. I'm not.
See, we're getting a little fancy
We'll
now. All right.
We'll do a cooking show sometime together.
We're all going to get exceptionally inebriated and just start cooking whenever.
Yeah.
That's how I came up with the deep fried grilled cheese.
Yes.
That is exactly how it happened. I was shit-faced in my house and thought, I love grilled cheese and I love deep fried food. What happens if I combine the two?
Chocolate chicken. I was drunk, I had drumsticks, and I had Hershey's syrup. That's all I had in my cupboards. So, that's what I made.
Nice.
I cooked the chicken, and then I kind of drizzled some chocolate sauce on it, and put them back in the oven. I don't remember if it was good or not, but I didn't throw it up, so it couldn't have been that bad.
We're going to have to find out.
We are. Coming up sometime on the Nick and Dan Show, chocolate chicken.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry in advance.
Oh, boy. Ryan, how about you, buddy?
Probably Duff's.
Duff's?
I love
Okay.
Duff's. Like chicken wings. Like I love getting chicken wings anywhere, but I
Mhm.
always love going to Duff's.
Okay.
Now, I've been to the original one. Have you been to the one in Niagara Falls at all?
I don't think so.
No, because I've heard there's a definite difference. Like the original one is a lot better, while the one in the falls, some people have complained they go a little too saucy on their wings. While me, I always like wing. I don't mind sauce, but I like a nice crispy chicken wing. That's me.
I'm more of a sauce guy.
Okay, you like more sauce? Well, then maybe you might like that one. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Now, you like Duff's. Is there any other places that you like chicken wings from, too, or?
I like Barville.
Okay.
I went with my friend Dylan, and it was really good there.
All right. Now, where's that one located at?
I think maybe West Seneca or something. Very far out.
Okay.
But
it's always tough because the lines just kind of bleed. Like, it might be West Seneca, it could
like,
be it's somewhere out in that general vicinity.
Just gotta, like, throw a dart or something.
Right.
Now, do you cook at all? Do you have a pasta dish you like to make?
I can make cereal and stuff.
Yeah.
Milk in the bowl.
All right.
All right, there ain't nothing wrong. Now, there's a big discussion with cereal. Do you pour the cereal first and then pour the milk, or are you one of those weird people that put the milk in the bowl first and then put the cereal in?
Cereal first, then the milk.
My man.
Right, always cereal first.
I've never heard of it the other way. Like,
there's some weird fucking people out there.
I've heard of it the other way, and I look at those people strangely and go, you're fucking wrong.
The only way I'll do that is if I go back for more cereal.
Yeah.
The milk's already in the bowl, we just pour it back in.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the only time that's acceptable or appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you gotta gauge out the proper amount of cereal before you put the milk in. It's
Just
otherwise,
gotta be careful how you pour it.
yeah. Otherwise, it's just
like,
pandemonium.
And if you're eating Cocoa Krispies, always drizzle the top with Kahlua. Yeah.
The alcoholic in me says thank you. Because the alcoholic in me also says you're a bastard.
You're gonna get chocolate milk by the end anyways, so why not make a mudslide?
Right. When in doubt, add alcohol, everybody.
Right.
When in doubt, add alcohol. All right, so we know a little bit about you guys, where you come from, the band itself. We know what your grubbing habits are. So I'm sure that all of you are wondering, what the fuck Crooked Generation sounds like. Now, it's not as crooked as you may think. It's pretty straightforward rock and roll. But up next, guys, I think we should give them a little taste of Crooked Generation. And here you go.
Stay tuned, because Crooked Generation is after these ads. If you want to have more of the Nick and Dan Show weekly, be sure to check them out on YouTube at XM Priory. EXHAMPRIORY. Tuesdays every week. Sunday, July 1st, 2018. Captain Beyond at the Sportsman's Tavern with Stationwagon. 6 p.m. start, $30 pre-sale. 326 Amherst Street, Buffalo, New York. Tickets and details at sportsmanstavern.com.
All WNY presents an evening of maddening proportions. Rats on Allen Street. Will your sanity last, or will you lose yourself to the sound of the night? Tempt the fates and release the Cage Kings. Behold the spectacle that is the Scarecrow Show.
Demons screaming and more taking a howl. The monster's lurking just outside your door.
And march with the rats of the Exit Priory. Answer the unnamed call from within. Saturday, July 21st. Eaches, 248 Allen Street, Buffalo, New York. 9 p.m. start, 21 and up with ID. $5 cover at the door. Rats on Allen Street.
And now for Crooked Generation.
this sounds loud. I'm so sick of it, I always feel like this, I can get off your floor. You ain't afraid of anything. You're ready to take on whatever tomorrow brings. Moved on to better shit. I'm just waiting for you to come. I think I'm patient. Everybody else just says I'm no. Let me out and try again. Oh no, not again. Done this time, so I'm so sick of it. I always say this. I can get off your floor. Here we go. For something I will never find. I'll be okay until the day I'm not alright. You swam away, you left me behind and drowned. You're the toughest girl that I have ever found. Again, oh no, not again, clap your hands. Now I'm so sick of it, I always say like this, I can get off your floor. Oh, and again, oh no, not again, don't this sounds around. Now I'm so sick of it, I always say like this, I can't get off. in love with you. Went to your house and you took me to your room. We got some incense put on that side of the moon. You made me come and get your bed. I want to light a cigarette. You said let's
that's all from the Nick and Dan Show for this week. Be sure to tune in on the YouTube channel at XM Priory for Tuesday Antics, plus the full extended version every Thursday on allwnyradio.com.